I'm going Elijah Moore. Here's a guy that as a rookie with the New York Jets and the quarterback situation was a shit show. Whether it was, Mike White, whether it was Zach Wilson, it was just rough. It was rough out there in those streets for a young guy. They change some things around. They bring in a new head coach, and it goes sideways very quickly for Elijah Moore. He wants to get a trade. He's not active on it's weird. And now he's in a spot that it feels like they want him. And I think that because of the offense that Cleveland is building, because you got Joe Burrow in your division, you got Lamar Jackson in your division. Oh, by the way, I heard this on a podcast today. This blew my mind. The Steelers over their last 9 games were 7-2, and they only had 5 turnovers. That's an offense on the come. That's a podcast for a different day. But I love Elijah Moore. I mentioned last week I was buying, I think it was actually Dan who was buying Amari Cooper because I bought him in a trade. But this is a buy on offense. I think I'm fading Nick Chubb unless I'm like all in win now, which that was a guy I mentioned last week as well. But I love Elijah Moore. And Theo, you're right there in the Long Island area. You are a New Yorker. What are your thoughts on Elijah Moore? I mean, he's no longer in your city, but what do you think about him for Dynasty and going forward?
I love Elijah Moore. I haven't sold any of my I'll take it back. I sold one Elijah Moore share this offseason. I pivoted for like a Marvin Mims share. So that was like a pivot. But I had so much Elijah Moore that it was more like a just a little slight pivot more than a get out of Elijah Moore. It's a great landing spot. Cleveland, everything that Cleveland's doing is making you think they're trying to put Deshaun Watson in a position to succeed. There's no more Kareem Hunt. There's not going to be this, two-headed monster at running back. There's going to be wide receivers getting targeted. They draft Tillman. They trade for Moore. I remember on the Dynasty Warzone podcast last summer how much you guys loved Garrett Wilson, but you couldn't figure out whether it was going to be Wilson or Moore. And Moore, that got a lot of us last summer on that, where Wilson and Moore were looked at as these like equals. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's done a lot to pass him by in Dynasty, but this could be a great bounce back opportunity. And I think Memphis, I'll take it a step further. I think that there's a percentage chance that he leads all Cleveland wide receivers in fantasy points this year. If it works out, it could really, really work out in Cleveland. All the beat writers say that he's tearing it up. And, we do see Amari Cooper with like the weird splits, like home and away splits. And we don't have a whole lot of sample size with Deshaun Watson playing with Amari Cooper. A lot of the Amari Cooper scoring last year came with Brissett. It's more likely not going to be Cooper, but I think if Moore hits and he gets back to what he showed us as a rookie in New York, then this could be like an ultimate bounce back, an ultimate revenge for all the Dynasty managers who were so hurt last year with their Elijah Moore shares. So I love that you're on Elijah Moore, and Sigmund Bloom was big time on Elijah Moore this year. Loves him this year.
Well, you could never go wrong being on the same side of a player as Sigmund Bloom. But Jerry, who is your guy? And please feel free to add anything on Elijah Moore that you may have.
Well, Theo pissed me off a little bit because I've been leading the parade on Amari Cooper and his easy acquisition.
You're probably right, Jerry. Like I'll say, like Amari Cooper, scored like he was a wide receiver 1 last year, and people are not treating him like that. So
no, they hate him.
Yeah, they hate him still. So
no, but as far as a hold for Elijah Moore, like you're not even when he was a rookie, like he wasn't very expensive. I mean, maybe he was 110, 111. More than likely, he was an early second-round pick, and. No, I am totally cool holding because like what Theo said, and I don't hate you for this one. If he does hit, monster, right? Because he's going to be like 24 and you're going to have seen him surpass Amari Cooper in that offense tied to Deshaun Watson, who has shown what he can do. Yes, to the moon.